Hey y'all, it's your girl Desiree and welcome back to the Discussions with a Mom podcast where we talk about marriage, motherhood, and the mindset of everything. How y'all doing? I hope everybody's doing well on whatever day you're seeing this on. Today is Wednesday for me. And before we get into the topic, I just want to say I know y'all noticed the audio is trash. And I know y'all see I don't got my microphone. It's because my microphone is broken. And I don't know when it'll be back. So I do apologize, and I really do apologize for the audio in the upcoming videos. Hopefully I won't be out of commission with my microphone long. Anyways, today we're talking about the emotional labor that women carry. So I think I'm talking to the married people, but I'm also talking to the people that just live with each other. Because sometimes living with a man, sometimes living with a man can be really stressful mentally. Because emotionally and mentally is almost the same thing with today's topic. Because I truly do think a lot of women aren't saying they're tired because of what they're doing physically. You tired because what you are doing mentally. And mental exhaustion, don't even get me started, okay? Mental exhaustion, let's continue. So what is emotional labor? And I got some examples to tell y'all what that is. It could look like you having to remember everything. And I do mean everything. I mean doctor's appointments, birthdays, what time to get the kids up for school, you gotta remember. Or if you don't have children and you just, living with your man or whatever, you gotta remember what time that man gotta go to work. So you can just constantly have to remember to do things. It could look like managing family schedules, like I just said, doctor's appointments, birthdays. You the only one that's making the calendars. You the only one that seems to care about making the calendars for the month. You will get to the point where you're anticipating problems before they even happen. Because sometimes when women carry a lot of emotional labor, and they tend to tell their partners like, hey, I truly feel like you can do more. I truly feel like you don't do anything. They don't really take that in a positive way. Because why are you telling me I don't do enough? Why are you telling me I could do more? Why are you telling me to do things when I already do a lot of things? And it's like, sir, you do a lot. Yes, you do. But you could be doing more to take the load off of me. I understand you do a lot. You just don't do what you need to do for me. My question would be like, do he even have the mental capacity to help you? But we'll get into that. Emotional labor can also look like keeping track of birthdays, appointments, groceries, and bills, like I already said. And you also are monitoring everyone's emotions in the house. You gotta take account of your emotions. You gotta take care of account of that man emotions. You gotta take care of account of them kids' emotions if y'all got kids. And at what point do anybody care about your emotions? At what point does anybody care about your mental? Forget the kids, because I'm pretty sure the kids too young to even understand. But that man, you gotta worry about how you bring it to him, because he's not worried about how he come back to you. You gotta worry about how this looks to him emotionally, because it's not coming back around to you in a positive light, if that makes sense. And you're basically just a household manager, and being the one who has to mentally take on the house is exhausting. I tell y'all all the time, I talk about things I know, I talk about things I go through. I know about this. I know about this. I went through this. Because why is it that the provider of the house can't remember when the light bill due? Why is it that the provider of the house can't remember that we need groceries? And I use provider loosely because take the title away. You live here too, sir. Like, you also live here. So why is it that I'm the only one that has to keep up with all of this? I might as well live by myself. Because to them, the labor is invisible because it's inside our head. Meaning, so the calendar is physically in front of you. But at the same time, in order to fill the calendar out, you have to remember all the dates. Like, you gotta go back and find the paperwork or whatever you need to do in order to make sure that the calendar is organized and you get the dates right. The fact that, like, the calendar, the bills, and the groceries are physically, like, you can physically see that. But mentally, you have to remember that, oh, I gotta go to the store this week. Oh, I gotta pay this bill this week. Oh, I got to do this week. Oh, I need to go look at the calendar. That's in your head. And that's what I mean by the labor gets invisible, because it is in our heads. And the other person tends to, I don't want to say not give a fuck, but the other person tends to not care about it, because obviously it's not in their head. If that makes, am I making sense? I feel like I'm making sense. And it gets to a point where women just be burnt out. Baby, we are burnt out. You already burnt out at the fact because you gotta keep up with these kids all day. Then I gotta keep up with the kids and I gotta carry the mental load of the house too. It can be a lot. It can most definitely be burnt out. Like, for instance, I'll talk about things I know. So I gotta worry about putting this baby on the schedule. I gotta worry about fixing the schedule. The schedule's not right. I have to worry about working around nap time. And I gotta worry about the trash overflowing. And I gotta worry about the dishes overflowing. And I gotta worry about the clothes need to be washed all by myself. Absolutely not. That is absolutely not, because that is constant responsibility. I understand as adults, we have constant responsibility. We have a lot of responsibility that you gotta do on a day-to-day basis. But I don't live by myself. And I'm talking to couples. So it's different. Like, this is not a roommate. It's not your brother or your cousin living with you. This is your romantic partner living with you. But yet one of y'all carry a lot more mentally than the other person. At some point, you do feel like you're the default parent. You feel like you're the default, period. Like, you look up and you realize, I'm the only one that care about these dishes. I'm the only one that care about when the bill's paid. I'm the only one that care about the schedules of the kids. I'm the only one that care about even our doctor's appointments. But yet I'm supposed to be okay with that. But yet I'm not supposed to, like, I'm not supposed to voice how I feel and get positivity back. Like, I'm not supposed to voice how I feel and actions aren't taking place so I don't have to feel like this no more. I'm telling you, like, it just does not make no sense. Because why do I have to carry everybody else's needs? Why do I not just think about my needs? Why don't I have to think about anything else other than the things that I'm thinking about on a day-to-day basis, like the stuff I already talked about at the beginning of this video? It's just simply not fair. And we're not gonna sit up here and act like it is fair. At the end of the day, this is a lack of appreciation. Do you even appreciate the fact that I put these kids on the schedule? Because honestly, if you did, you would just either one, ask me what their schedule is. Why you have to ask me what your kid's schedule is and we all live together? That's neither here nor there. But you either ask me what the schedule is, or you could physically use your eyeballs to see, oh, they're kind of on the schedule. I don't really know the schedule to the T, but let me try to, as the man of the house, let me try to get with the program in the house. Because honestly, like, as a stay-at-home mom, if you are a stay-at-home mom, or if you are the default person in the house is basically your second job. But for me, I'm gonna stay at home. This house is my job. You don't get to come in here being my coworker. You don't get to come in here and basically fuck it up. You don't get to come in here and not follow the rules of the house. Because at some point, you did make rules of the house. Like, these are the kids' bedtimes. We gonna do dishes X, Y, and Z days. We gonna make sure the bills are paid on time on the days that, whatever days they assign or whatever days we choose to assign. Those are the house rules. You don't get to come in here and fuck it up, sir. You don't get to come in. Do you do that at your job? Do you get to come on board at a new job or at your job and just fuck it all up? You don't get to do that. Same thing here. You don't get to do that. Because women that carry all the emotional labor, which is mental, you carry all the mental labor of the house, we never get a damn day off. I'm pretty sure I'm talking to a stay-at-home mom right now. If you're a stay-at-home mom, let me know in the comments, because hey, gang gang, we never get a damn day off because it's always something. I gotta be the one to make sure that this house is ran in a way where it suits everybody by myself. I gotta make sure these kids is okay by myself. And before we get into it, you could be like, oh no, I help out. Okay, it's 7 days in a week, but you only help out 2. Are you helping? Oh, I help out, but you only pay the bills. Strictly only pay the bills. What are you helping? Because all we want to do, we just want to be heard, honey. We just want to share responsibilities. Because if we live together, I'm talking about if we live together, there is no reason under the sun why the house, I'm talking about the house. There is no reason why this house is not a shared responsibility. Sir, you live here too. And I do understand, people be like, well, if you a stay-at-home mom, then that man shouldn't have to come home and do anything. I don't really believe in that. Because what if I'm sick? What if I can't do something that day? What if these kids done ran me so raggedy all day long that I just ain't got nothing else left in me? You mean to tell me you ain't supposed to do nothing because you work? I know it's two sides to that mindset, but I truly do feel like that's what people mean by that. And I say people because women and men say it. Don't get me wrong. Me being a stay-at-home wife, I truly do feel like my husband shouldn't have to come home and do much. He shouldn't have to come home and do much. But he should come home and have to do, well, not necessarily have to. But like I said, if I can't do it, I need to do it. Especially if we already assigned a specific day for something. Say for instance that these dishes, we do the dishes every Tuesday. Or if I do the dishes every Tuesday, there is no reason why you shouldn't do these dishes on this Tuesday if I can't do it. But at the end of the day, I don't promote the fact that if a woman is at the house most of the time, and first of all, that's a very outdated mindset. But if the woman is at the house more than anything, that does not mean that your man gets to come home and do nothing. All he gets to do is come home and throw his shoes to the side and go, sit on the toilet for 45 minutes and then go on and do whatever he needs to do. I don't feel like that's what that means at all. That would not be promoted over here. I already tell you to be self-confident and sit up here and tell you to do that. Girl, bye. If you are one of these women that feel where I'm coming from today, I got a couple of mindset shifts that can help with these. Because at the end of the day, honey, it is not fair that you get to carry the whole house by yourself. And you live with your partner. It's just simply not fair. Point one, stop assuming that people know what you need. You gotta communicate what you need. Because at one point, me and my husband, we were going through this. I was like, you don't come home, you don't do nothing. Because he didn't. And don't get me wrong, like saying you come home and you don't do nothing is different than saying you don't come home and help me. That's two different sentences. But I said he didn't come home and did nothing. I was like, you come home and you don't do anything. To him, he came home and did a lot. But you don't help me when you at the house. I don't know why you don't help me, but these are the things that I need for you to do when you come home. And I know you're gonna look at me and be like, well, why I gotta tell him that? He live here too, he should know what's going on. Sometimes they don't get it. Sometimes they just simply do not get it. I know. Just try to be overly specific with your needs. Like if you feel like you broke it down good enough, but you know you can break it down some more, break it down some more. Because honestly, like sometimes people just don't know what you need. They can look at you all day and you look like you're fine, but deep down you like, he could have changed that diaper. Deep down you could have been like, he walk pay the dishes just like I'm finna walk pay the dishes. He could have did them too. I'm also not promoting that you need to sit up here and keep constantly telling somebody what you need, because that's also not fair. Because like at some point it needs to click and it needs to stay. But in the beginning stage, just be specific on your needs. Just ask directly and stop beating around the bush. I mean, you can come to him and be like, hey, this is what I need. And honestly, I'm not really gonna ask you too many times. This is what I need. I need you to give it the program. You can always say that, but in a nicer way. But just at the end of the day, just understand. Sometimes they really don't understand. I can get into why they might not understand, but that's gonna be another video for another day. Stop being everything for everyone. Y'all know over here, I promote being selfish. Be selfish. I'm not even joking, okay? Set you some boundaries. Make you a schedule. If you are one of the women that feel like they're carrying the emotional load, it's really because you are. You just don't know how to quite communicate that shit. But if you do need to come up with a schedule, don't be the only one to come up with a schedule. That's just another thing you gotta do. Okay, sit that man down and be like, hey, let's come up with a schedule for chores and house stuff that we both can stick to on a regular basis, month after month, day after day. And at some point, you gotta let people solve their problems on their own. Cause like it is a problem that, you come in and you don't help me. It is a problem that you come in and you live here with me, but I'm still the only one that care about this house. It is an issue. However, if you tell them it's a problem, if you voice that it's a problem, they gotta learn how to solve them on their own. Men are problem solvers. I gotta remember that. And another thing, stop overextending yourself, okay? Stop overextending yourself. Because help should not require you abandoning yourself. I kid you not. It's been like 5 or 6 dishes on the side of the sink at my house. I told my husband to wash them dishes a week ago. It bothered me every day to walk past them dishes. But get what though? I told him to do it. Well, I asked him to do it. He said he would do it. Okay. I asked him to do it that night. I was like, can you wash these this night? He was like, yes, ma'am, I'll do it. Okay. 7 days went by before he washed those dishes. And I just sat there. I was like, well, I guess he gonna do it one day. And it bothered me so bad, but I gotta let him fix his own problems. Like, in the past, I used to be like, it should not take you 3 days to wash these dishes. Like, let me just do it because it's getting on my nerves. No, absolutely not. Because you said you would do them. I voiced my needs. I needed you to do that. You said, yes, ma'am, I'll do it. Now it's in your court. If it takes you 6 months to do it, I guess we just won't have no dishes no more because they done molded and corroded and, you know, whatever. But that was your problem to fix. I had to let you fix your problem. Love you, babe, but it's on my hands now. And when you do get to the point where you are asking for help, don't feel guilty. Especially if you're a stay-at-home mom. Do not feel guilty for asking for help. It's 2026, babe. I understand. I completely understand. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I don't even believe I ever saw my grandmother ask my granddad for help around the house. I don't think I ever saw it. That don't mean she never did. That don't mean that stay-at-home moms in my life growing up, well, stay-at-home wives, mom, whatever, in my life growing up, that don't mean they didn't do the same thing that I'm doing. I just never saw it. Which, I mean, that did enable me to grow up with a certain type of mindset about stay-at-home moms. But I just never saw that. I know for a fact my grandma didn't feel guilty. Martha didn't feel guilty, baby. So you don't need to feel guilty about asking for no help. From the person that lived in the house with you, from the person that you lay beside every night. Ask for help. Now, I did say in this video, and I'm going to say it again, I'm not telling you to keep constantly asking for help because at some point it do need to click. And the click needs to stay. But don't feel guilty for asking for help. Responsibilities of the house are shared. Responsibilities of y'all life together are shared. Now, one responsibility might be his, another one might be yours. But if he falls short, if you fall short, y'all gotta be able to come, baby. When I can't do it, can you? And when things do start getting better, as a woman, I don't really know how many feel about this, but as a woman, you have to accept the fact that things might look differently after they're done. He might not do it how you want him to do it. Bath time. Why is he doing bath like that? Girl, just because you did the bath like that don't mean he's gonna do the bath like that. I would never let some dishes sit on the freaking counter for 6 days. 6 days. That is unrealistic. Even if I worked, even if I had to leave I do work, but even if I had to leave the house, I would never let 6 days. But guess what though? I had to let him learn. And so you gotta be accepting that things may look a little differently than how you do it. But it got done. And we can work on the fact that you didn't do it within 5 days, but it got done. The thing you need to worry about is this is not a sacrifice. This is not a sacrifice. Okay, marriage is about compromise. This is a compromise. If you don't pay the bills as a woman, but your man falls short, now I gotta sacrifice my money. Girl, sacrifice. You don't want a roof over your head? I make a compromise. Here you go. That's a compromise. Looking at it as sacrifice, that's negative in my opinion. Some other things you can compromise is the fact that you will be getting rest on some of these days. Just because I do the dishes every Tuesday don't mean that I can't miss a Tuesday. Don't mean I can't choose to rest on this Tuesday even though I say I do dishes every Tuesday. That's not what that means at all. Because at some point, I gotta give me some rest. Because I'm gonna prioritize my self-care. And the last thing you can do for the mindset shift of this video is create a life that pours back into you. Prioritize your self-care. Schedule you some personal time. Try a new hobby, okay? Just try some new shit. Connect with friends, go outside, touch some grass, or connect with some new friends, old friends, or whichever one you need to do. But just prioritize yourself. Pour back into you. When that house is chaotic, stuff just to get to be too much, it's your time, okay? Some days out the week, some days out the month, I'll be like, you know what? Fuck this house. Fuck this house. Fuck these kids. Fuck that man. I'm finna go outside and read my book because that's what I need to do. And maintain your goals outside of being a wife and a mom. Maintain yourself outside of being a wife and a mom. I would never sit up here and tell you like make being a wife your sole personality or make being a mom your sole personality. Fun fact about me, I do not go by my last name. I don't go by my marital last name. If somebody was to call me Mrs. Thomas, I'd be like, that's my mother-in-law's name. My name is Desiree. I actually refuse to go by. Like, I go by in professional settings where I need to go by. Like, on a day-to-day basis, don't call me that. That's not who I am. I am Desiree. I just so happen to be Desiree Thomas. I just so happen to be Desiree the mom. I just so happen to be Desiree the content creator. But at the end of the day, my name is Desiree. That's my identity. But I said everything to say being strong doesn't necessarily mean that you get to carry everything by yourself. Being strong is knowing when you need support. It's knowing when to say, hey, I need you to help me. It's knowing when to reach out to the person laying beside you every night. And it's also knowing when to set boundaries. You deserve a life where you're not pouring into everyone else over and over and over again. That's the only thing you're doing. You deserve a life of balance. Equally balanced, okay? And pour back into you. But, like I say in all my videos, this is just my opinion. And I can't wait to hear y'all advice in the comments. And the question of the day is, what's one invisible responsibility that you feel like you carry on your own? I'm gonna be honest with you, me, it's chores. I truly do feel like I'm the only one that cares about chores in my house. And yes, I do feel like I'm the only one that care about the way that I care about it. But it could use a little help. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for listening to me yap. I love all of y'all. I appreciate the people that's been coming over here and listening to my podcast. I appreciate the people that coming over here and want to hear me yap. I love that for y'all. I love that for me also. I love you. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Connect with me on all social medias. They will be in the description below. And I can't wait to see y'all in my next discussion. I love you. Bye.